Welcome to my civilization overview for the Knights Templar. This is part of the Knights of Cross and Rose DLC for Age of Empires 4. And what we're going to be doing today is going through all of the unique units, techs, buildings, mechanics, everything you're going to need to know to be able to play Knights Templar successfully as you get started. And we'll be going through both the tech tree as well as walking through what the different units are. And we'll even run it back a few times because there's a lot of different age up options with the Civ. If you want to make sure you catch some of my casted games of this Civ already or other guides on the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit a thumbs up on the channel. It helps me out. Let's dig into it. So the Knights Templar, their town center is technically called a Templar headquarters. It is not a town center, but it's very similar to one. And a unique thing right out of the gate you should know about the Knights Templar is, well, how do they age up? Well, you're going to age up right here at your town center, which is very similar to other Age of Empires games, but typically in AoE4 you've always built landmarks. So you're going to age up. We'll talk about that in a second. But one thing to know is, okay, well, you're going to age up like this. While you're aging up, you won't be training villagers. So they have a few other eco bonuses to try to counteract that, because you do technically lose a few villagers while you're aging up. Also, like, well, okay, so I have one landmark. How is that going to work as far as being landmark sniped as a win condition? Well, the way that they get additional landmarks is by building Templar fortresses. So by building these fortresses, it accounts as a landmark. So it's like a keep, right? And you can build several of them. You can actually have more landmarks technically than other civs by building these. And when you build one down, it will count as a landmark. So it could be very, very good for free-for-all, I think, most certainly. But just one thing to note, and we'll look at that closer when we get in the second age. Right at the beginning, if we click on these villagers, you'll see they can gather their wood without a lumber camp. So I'll go task them over there. They automatically deposit that wood, so you'll see the wood start going up as they are chopping. In addition to the wood being deposited like that, the villagers gain 20% of their wood as additional food. So they actually, there you go, see the wood going up, and you will eventually see the food count going up as well, even though I am not, there you go, not gathering from the sheep. So those are some main differences right at the start. You might see this icon on it. This is just the total fortresses you've built on the map. And I think for the Dark Age here, that's a pretty good start. So let's go check out, what happens when you advance to the next age. So when you click up, you can see something that looks like this. This looks very similar to Age of Empires 3 if you've played before, where you've got different options. And depending on the commandery you select for the next age, it's going to unlock some unique units. So you can't have all three of these, but you choose one in each age. And what I really like about this is it allows for a lot of different theory of crafting and different strategies. Maybe you want to come up with like a unique combination of these age ups and techs and units you're going to use. And I think that's really cool. Obviously, there'll be some meta ones early on, and there'll be people who go against the meta. I'll tell you right now, this seems to be the most meta pick from what I've seen, but that could all change very, very quickly. We're just in the preview right now. But we got these three different age up options, and there's actually a little more details in the tech tree. So let's head on over there to take a look. So I'll go here in the tech tree. And by the way, if you want to know where to find your tech tree, you can find it on the main menu in the Learn tab, or like I did here, if you pause the game, you hit tech tree, you can go through the different civs. And then I like to click this button to expand them all so you can see what's available. So right in here, you're able to hover over and see the different bonuses that are available, but they actually describe them in a little more length here on the left side. So let's go through some of the uniqueness that you'll see with the Knights Templar. They rated it as a level 2 Civ for what that's worth, compared to the brand new House of Lancaster, which is rated at a 1-star level. Okay, so establishing commanderies, age up at the town center by establishing one of 3 unique commanderies. Each permanently unlocks a new unit and bonus. Frankish defensive schemes. Fortresses replace keeps. So I showed you those fortresses. And are available in the feudal age. So you can build them in the second age. They're rather expensive. 600 stone and 300 gold. So yeah, it's quite expensive. Ranged units positioned near a fortress have additional increased attack range, and stone walls placed within the influence of the fortress within the influence of a fortress or Templar headquarters, have 25% increased health and gain a defensive arrow. So they have extra chunky stone walls and nice bonuses around their fortresses. They behave as landmarks, but can be fully destroyed, which means you can completely remove it from the map, which is not the case for other landmarks. Now we're going to read about pilgrimage, and then I'll hop on over. Well, I can show you right here. So at the town center, you might have noticed just a moment before, there's this upgrade available in the second age called Safe Passage. Then the tier 2 of that is Sanctuary. So what's that all about? For the Knights Templar, they cannot train traders. Instead, they generate gold from successful pilgrimages. Upon reaching the feudal age, the Knights Templar may offer safe passage for pilgrims to travel to a sacred site. So if you research this, 200 food, 100 wood, you're likely going to get that the second you hit the second age, unless you're going for some like really rush strategy or trying to get a second TC or something. But you research this. Once you do, pilgrims will start spawning at your town center, and they will go towards the sacred site that you designate. So at your TC, there's this to designate a destination. So you'll select that, pick the furthest sacred site, or whichever one's safest or whatever. And then once I get the safe passage upgrade in the next age, then at that point, a pilgrim will spawn and start walking. Now, one interesting thing about the pilgrims is you cannot, the enemy can kill them, of course, but you can't micro them. So I can't like move them out of the way. It's not like we're getting raided with trade and you move them around. No, they just go, they run there, they respawn, they run, but they infinitely keep trading. So even if they do kill them, a new one spawns, they keep going. So just something to know about that. And if you really want to see that in action, go check out some of my casted games of Knights Templar. So pilgrimage is a big thing. Every 60 seconds, a group of pilgrims will travel from the Templar headquarters to a selected sacred site, generating gold. Now, the cap on that, without the other bonuses and stuff to increase it, is 130 gold. The size of the group is increased by 1 for each active fortress, up to a maximum of 10. And as you can see, sacred sites and relics are revealed at the start of the game. So a little bonus. So all that to be said, you get this tech that I showed you, right? And once you get that, that'll give you 1 pilgrim. And then every time you build an additional fortress, it's going to give you additional pilgrims. And there's even some age ups where your fortresses give additional trade bonuses. And we'll get into some of that in a bit. But pilgrims, going to be something to supplement your economy since you're losing a few villagers as you age up. Victory through steel. The Knights Templar are committed to a life of sword and steel. They do not wield gunpowder on the field, but have powerful technologies to improve their melee units. So you'll see a few unique melee units, but they don't have any gunpowder. That's something quite different about this civ. Landscape preservation. This is what I showed you earlier. Villagers automatically deposit wood without a lumber camp, and wood is gathered 50% faster in each age. Because you got to think about the fact you can't build a lumber camp to even get this tech. So you get that automatically as you age up, and you get some of your food, your wood returned as food. So really cool ability there. Siege experts. Trebuchets fire additional projectiles and can be deployed atop fortresses. I'll show you this here in a bit, but yeah, that's really, really cool. You can get a trebuchet upgrade on your fortresses, and I love it. I can't wait to do some kind of meme ladder strat where I just make villagers and fortresses and push my enemy's base or something like that. Well, we're going to try it, I'm sure. Siege workshops and engines cost 25% less wood. So some siege bonuses there, and you get trebuchets on top of your keeps, essentially. They're unique units. So these are going to be the unique units by age. So you got the feudal age, castle age, imperial age. So we'll go through that. Feudal age. So you have your 3 different age up options. If you go up with the Knights Hospitaller Commandery, you get a Hospitaller Knight, heavy melee infantry that can heal nearby friendly units. So it's this guy right here. Yeah. So it costs 50 food, 60 gold. They heal when you're standing still. They don't heal while you're in battle. So you have to be standing still. Obviously, it's going to be a lower rate than like a priest might, but if you have a bunch of them, it can make up for it. And they're kind of like a mid-tier man-at-arms. You have access to the second age, but you only get that if you go up with the Hospitaller Commandery. And yeah, that's the option there. Kingdom of France, which I've told you is the most popular one I've seen so far. Let's see, where is it? It'll be at the stable. Maybe it's up top. Where's the stable? Oh, it's on the bottom. We'll find it. Veteran, there we go. So if you go up for the Kingdom of France, you can unlock this unit, the Chevalier Confere. I probably said it wrong. Heavy cav with high damage. Gains health from nearby heavy cav. So these guys, they get additional bonuses as you have nearby heavy cav. So it's kind of more similar in stats to a Sofa. I think they have 2/2 armor out of the gate. And when you have additional, you get more HP. It's still not really that massive, like compared to like a Royal Knight or Early Knights, whatever. Like they're not going to be as strong as that necessarily, but you get a bunch of these, you can make up for it. But just, yeah, that's a cav unit you can unlock. And I see a lot of people go for that because, you know, in Age 2, having some, you know, Knight adjacent units to run around with, really, really nice. Okay, yeah, so this is all still Age 2 options, right? You have the Hospitaller Commandery, you have the France Commandery, and then there's the Principality of Antioch Commandery, which gives you the Sergeant, which is a very unique unit. It's a heavy infantry with high melee armor. They with high melee armor, throws axes which deal melee damage from range. So deals melee damage at range. Certainly would be good at taking out siege or like rams or something because they do melee damage. I haven't thought about like the best case for really using these yet. Like obviously they'll be good against just standing on the back line, dishing out melee armor, but you kind of need something like in front of tank for that. But they do have high melee armor. So yeah, an interesting unit. I haven't seen it played with a whole lot, but you know, still a lot of times to explore what it does. And it's right here. Yeah, right there's the Sergeant. 70 food, 50 gold for that one. And the strong versus melee units. So gonna be good against your spearmen, help you out with those man-at-arms, whatever it might be. Oh, and then oh yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. Okay, so that is everything for the second age up. Let's go to the Castle Age. For the Castle Age, you have the Angevin Empire Commandery, which is heavy spearmen, armored spearmen that is stronger around fortresses. So that is this guy. Yes, any food that costs gold as well. So it's a really strong spearman, good around fortresses, but I don't know, like having a unique spearman, like spearmen are amazing as all. I mean, spearmen are a great unit, but like I don't know if I necessarily want to choose to have a special one over some of these other options. Republic of Genoa Commandery, Genoese crossbow. So these are expensive crossbow that deals additional damage to melee infantry. So where the traditional crossbow is good against, you know, has extra bonus damage versus armor, these do not. They just have extra bonus damage versus melee infantry specifically, and they're expensive. 80 food, 100 gold is what you're looking there for the crossbow. And then your last option for the third age, the Kingdom of Castile Commandery, Genitor, the mounted javelineer that excels against range units. So this is kind of like a Terma from Age of Mythology, but you know, it's a mounted anti-ranged unit. So it's like a javelin on wheels, right? So, and again, I'll show you that. You train that up at the archery range right there, 60 food and 60 wood. And yeah, if the enemy's got a lot of archers or stuff, that's going to be a nice option to have. So those are your three options for the Castle Age. And then our unique units for the Imperial Age. Kingdom of Poland Commandery give you the Slachta Cavalry, which are elite cavalry with exceptional ranged armor. Slows the attack of enemies. It damages and deals additional damage to light infantry. So I really like this unit. It's pretty cool. I mean, I love like late game heavy cav. Very expensive, as you can see. 180 food, 120 gold. Very, very expensive. So it's kind of like your elite cav unit. You also do have, by the way, we'll go through this whole tree, but you know, the Templar brother will be available to you in the third age as like your knight unit. So this would be an addition to that, but we'll go through all those here in a second. If you go up with the Teutonic Order Commandery, you get the Teutonic Knight, absurdly powerful heavy infantry that gains power for each enemy felled in combat. So that's veterancy. We have veterancy in AoE4 now. Reduces the armor of nearby enemies. So where is he? There's that Teutonic Knight. Right there. Yeah, this guy with the horns. Really badass infantry unit. 100 gold, 80 food. Gonna be expensive, but you know, just gonna be an absolute powerhouse out on the battlefield. And then you have the Republic of Venice. Fast will give you the Condottiero, which is a fast infantry that costs only gold, strong against gunpowder units. So that's going to be this guy, really a specialist, you know, and only gold. That's going to be expensive, but you know, you got all those trades and pilgrimages going, you know, maybe it won't be too bad. It won't be too bad, but that's what that is. You get the Venetian galley, large oared vessel with a long range forward mounted trebuchet. Yes, you heard me right. A trebuchet boat. Hell yeah. And then you get the Venetian trader. Expensive but fast moving trader. Max build limit is 5. So those are all the unique units. Let's take a moment and we'll just gaze through this tech tree. So we talk about the units, but the bonuses you can see here for going into age 2 will be if you get France, military units are produced faster and cheaper, and you get that cav unit. With Antioch, you get melee units gain additional 10% damage, and the Knights Hospitaller you get additional health for your civilians, and your healing is up along with unlocking that Hospitaller to do some healing. If you go up with going up to the Castle Age, with Genoa, you get pilgrims generate additional gold, so that's how you can get past that 130 cap. If you go for Castile, units near the sacred sites gain 20% damage and regen. So if you raid, want to come back, hang out at that sacred site, and have some, you know, have some fortresses there, that'll be nice. And then Angevin Empire fortresses and docks gain additional health. Not one I get super excited about. I think, you know, these two likely popular options. I've seen both of them used so far, but we'll see what becomes more popular over time. And then last but not least, going into the Imperial Age, Teutonic Order is going to give you that super cool melee unit we showed you. Gets the veterancy, and all gold units gain +2 melee armor. So if you're going for a lot of infantry, these could be really nice. Republic of Venice reduces the change in the base buy or sell price by 75% when trading resources at the market. So going to allow you to have some favorable exchanges, no tariffs. And then the Kingdom of Poland, all cavalry gain +10% health and +50% charge damage. So if you're going for a cav heavy army or want to make all those elite cav, this will be the option you want to choose. So as you can see, a lot of combinations. And at this point, if you think you know in your mind, like this is the combo I think is going to be good, or have some strategies in mind, throw them down in the comment section, because I'm kind of curious what people are going to come up with. I've been experimenting with a little bit of all of them so far, and I'm sure we'll see some really cool build order guides come out soon, and I'll share them with you as I find them. Okay, so we already talked about these techs. These are how you get your pilgrims going on in the town center. You research this once you get to the second age. At the mill, everything is going to be standard. Mining camp, everything's standard. We don't have a lumber camp. You just get your upgrades automatically when you reach the next age, because they deposit, you know, into the thin air. At the barracks, line up, you have your spearmen. You're going to have your spearmen line upgrades. If you choose to go for the age up options, these are all unique, right? You can get the Hospitaller, which does some healing. Then you get the Sergeant, which does that melee range. It's a ranged melee attack. If that makes any sense. So those are depending on which ones you age up with. And then your standard man at arms. If you do go up with, I can't remember which one this one is, the spearman. But anyways, you can get the heavy spearman if you go for it. I think it's it doesn't matter, whichever one it is. And then finally, in the last age, depending on what you choose to age up with, you can get the Teutonic Knight or the Condottiero. So, man, look at all those options. It barely fits on the screen. A lot of infantry options for Knights Templar. And then we have our outposts, going to have your typical upgrades. Your fortresses are your unique keep, right? 600 stone, 300 gold. And in addition to some of those bonuses we talked about they get in counting as a landmark, they've got some cool upgrades. So Desert Citadels improves the desert outpost aura on fortresses to also increase the armor of nearby units by +1/+1. So be really in your interest if you're fighting underneath citadels in this case. You can get a springboard emplacement, and you can actually get both these. You can get a trebuchet emplacement. Absolutely awesome. I'll show you this in here in a second, but it's really, really cool. Excited to see it in action a little bit. Boiling oil, as always. Another unique one, Treasure Towers, increases the gold generation of monasteries, sacred sites, and pilgrims by 20% within the aura of the fortress. And what I've found from this so far, to get this bonus, you basically have to build it like on a sacred site so that your pilgrims are inside of the range when they drop off their gold in order to get this. And so it doesn't, like, from what I can tell so far, it doesn't stack like you might do with your Malian trade with the towers. It's just like you just need one of these at the end of the trade route, which sometimes is hard. Like investing on building one of these just on the middle of the map by a sacred site might not be so great early on. So something to consider. And then in the 4th age, you can get iron clamps, reinforcing the walls, reduces incoming damage from gunpowder by 20%, and stone walls for stone walls and fortresses. So you can have some resistance against those bombards. So nice little stuff there. So yeah, fortress. We'll show you this one here in a second, but one of the unique buildings here. You can still just build town centers like you typically would and expect. So everything's standard there. Your market, you'll notice there's no trader at your market, but you can get this. And I'll show you this in game. This tech is pretty crazy, especially for the late game. So unlocks the Pilgrim Loan abilities, which loan a large sum of food for a return in gold over time. So typically in late games, you know, you're selling food to get gold, right? A lot of times with this, you choose the tier that you want to invest. So whether it's like a few hundred or 1,000 or 2,000 or what, I can't remember the exact values. We'll look in a second. Depending on the one you choose, it's going to give you a gold return. So instead of just selling those off outright, you can use these exchanges, which is really interesting tech. It's really investing. And then if you go with the Republic of Venice, you can get the Venetian Trader. They said you can get a max 5 of these. Expensive trader that generates gold by traveling between its home market and a trade post. So just a special type of trade you can get. But yeah, some different mechanics at the market, which is usually not the case for most civs. At the blacksmith, everything you see here is absolutely standard from other civs. No special text to see at the blacksmith. At your we got a battering ram, we got a siege tower as usual. Archery range we talked about. You can get the Genoese crossbow if you go up with that, or you can get the Genitor, which is that javelin cav unit. In addition to your archer and crossbow roster. No hand cannons, as you can see, no gunpowder allowed. At the stable, we've got our scout, our horseman, and then depending on what you age up with, you can get the Chevalier Confrere, which is from the if you go up with French into the feudal age, and then you do get, this is your knight, essentially, the Templar brother, expensive cav unit with high damage and melee armor. And then if you go over the age at the very end, you get the Slosh to Cavalry, which is the heavy melee cav, if you decide to age up with that. They do have a unique tech here. Rule of Templars. Gain +2 charge damage per nearby charging heavy cav. So they've got a few bonuses, right? Such as getting more HP and there's more cav around. Getting additional charge damage, which is more cav around. So something to consider. That's what you're going to have at your stable. Everything here is pretty standard. We do have one unique tech at the monastery, Fanaticism. Templar Brothers and Commandery unit gain +10% damage when below 50% health, and +30 when below 25% health. So that's pretty cool, kind of like a berserk type thing. As it gets low on HP, going to do more damage. Yeah, pretty cool little unique upgrade you have there. At the Siege Workshop, everything is normal as you might expect, but no great bombard. Everything's to be wooden. Nothing else new there. At the university, we got a few unique techs. We got counterweight defenses. All trebuchet weapons gain +1 projectile. So that's pretty cool. So that's going to include your trebuchet on land as well as the one you might build on your fortresses. You have the Cranquins. Crossbows are able to load stronger bolts that have +0.5 range and +2 damage. So a unique upgrade for your crossbows. And you've got Brigadine. Common soldiers are equipped with more resistant armor. Light cav get +2 armor, which I like this. I mean, late game horseman raids can make a big difference. You get the additional +2 armor. That can be really massive. And that is everything unique for the Knights Templar. A lot to go through. You might need to back it up, go back, see it again. But let's go in here. I'm going to slap some cheat codes in, and we're just going to take a look at some of the options that are available. So, as you can see here, nothing to do here. We're going to age up. Did I spelled it right? And so we can age up really fast. Okay, so we're going to go up. And for the sake of this video, we'll go up with the let's go up with this Knights Hospitaller. Okay, so we've aged up. Now that I aged up, I'm going to set my pilgrim destination out here. Now you'd have to research it. It would take a few seconds to get, but it's free. It's really fast because of the way I have the cheats right now. But once I research that, you'll see this mechanic in action. So there we go. We've got our first pilgrim. Going to make 107 gold by trading there. So that's kind of a closer one. You typically like target one of these on the edge or something if there was one there. And you'll notice I can't micro this or anything. The enemy can come raid them, but they'll just keep doing their thing. Even if the enemy army is like standing here sieging you, they'll keep walking through them and getting themselves killed. But essentially, once she reaches there, she gets abducted by aliens and deposits 107 gold in your bank account. So that's gonna be that. And then you can upgrade it an additional time to get more pilgrims. So there we go. We got that. So now there'll be groups of 2. I think it waits for 60-second cooldown. Yeah, so there. Once that cooldown goes down, we'll see 2 come out now at this point. Now let's show you that unique unit we all wanted to see. Let's check this out. This is the fortress. Remember, that's going to count as a landmark. There it is. And you see some auras because that's for your walls, health, and the walls do get an arrow slit. It's pretty crazy. I'm kind of interested, you know, in seeing that in action. It's just some extra damage, but if you look at these, wait, do I have the upgrade on it? Yeah, I do. Look, so these each of these wall segments have 8 ranged damage in addition versus ships. So unique and cool, but yeah, I like it. I like it. We've also got the improved desert outpost aura, so they get help your nearby infantry. All right, we talked about it before. Now you can see there's 2 of those pilgrims. 110 gold. I'll just show you that a few of these units here. We'll get a archer range, we'll get a barracks, we'll get a stable. There you go. And the one you're going to see, right, is that Hospital Knight. So there's that unit here in the second age. You can check him out. There they are. So they're able to heal each other. Here's the stats on them. 2 melee, 1 ranged, and they do 10 damage, 10 base damage. That's gonna be that unique if you age up this way. And you can see Templar Brother I'll get later on, stable, and man arms as well. Okay, so just for the sake of this, we've checked all of that out. Let's just build a market just so you can see some of the stuff. We'll get this upgrade in the 3rd age. So let's go on up to the 3rd age to take a look at that. Okay, so you can get either this, you know, elite heavy spearman. You can go for additional gold. You can do sacred site bonuses. I'll just go for Genoa here for the sake of this tutorial, just so I can show you this crossbow. There they are. Really cool looking unit, by the way. I really like the model on these guys. So very beefy crossbows. They're going to be available for you. So these things are cool. Let's check out these techs now. So this is the Pilgrim Alone. Watch this ability. So this is very different. So I got this ability. Now, I'll get rid of in a jiffy just so you can kind of see how it works. So what I'm going to do is I can either put down 1,000 food, 2,500 food, or 4,000 food. And you can see it returns 900 gold, 600 gold, 300 gold. So you deposit it in there, and then you just slowly, you will get 300 per minute gold back after doing that. So if you got a lot of food floating in the later stage as you do your farm transition or just reaching age 4, running out of gold on the map, you can have this hotkey come over and pop in and do some of these loans rather than just like base selling, which of course you can do as well. Now looking here at the fortress, I can now get treasure towers to increase the gold generation of monasteries and sacred sites and pilgrims. But to really get that pilgrim bonus, I'd have to come out here and build a fortress. So I'll go do that for right now. You do see these base rates we're getting. Wait, how did some of those get a higher amount? They like walked around an extra tree or something? I don't know. That was a little weird. Anywho, so we'll let that go on and build a, we'll just build these things so you can see what's going on in here. Okay, so everything's standard here. The Siege Workshop Monastery, you can get fanaticism in the late stages. And speaking of that, let's go on up to the last age. So here's the 3 options you have to choose from. I really want to show you guys off this Teutonic Knight. So let's go with that for now. Of course, you can go with Slash the Cavalry is awesome as well. You want to see some of these different units in action, go check out some of my casted games. Okay, let's see them. Let's get them. So with this, you know, we can have a whole melee army of stuff. And then you can come over here. Wait, let's get the upgrades on all these guys. Yeah, let's grab these upgrades. Yeah, and then we'll get fanaticism as well for when they take damage ultimately. We get the Genoese crossbowmen. And now we're talking. And I will build a university to show you some of those unique techs. Now's the time I want to show you. Look at this. We got a trebuchet emplacement on top here, and let's show that deer who's boss. Look at that thing, and look at the range on it. Now, very bad at hitting deer, as you can see here, but pretty cool. I like that a lot. I love it. It's pretty cool. We can get the additional projectiles here, so let's do that. And I believe it'll now get additional. Yeah, one additional projectile, so it is receiving the bonus we just got. Oh, he killed the deer. Good job. Good job, Trebuchet. Get that deer. There you go. Destroying the wildlife. Okay, so that's that upgrade. You've got the crossbows able to load stronger bolts. Here, you can get the Brigandine. The common soldiers are equipped with more resistant armor. So I just want to get all the infantry upgrades just to really kind of show you what's capable here. Where's my blacksmith? I didn't build one, so let's go ahead and slap a blacksmith down. And by the way, you can see there's an aura around this, so you know we can get all these upgrades or whatever. And then when they come out, they're going to be able to. Oh, what's he hitting? A wolf! Oh my gosh, that wolf just tanked it. Didn't even take any damage. So Pilgrim's very slow, as you see here, 0.75 speed. But they will return additional gold now that I've got this aura going on, and we have treasure towers. So there you go, 167 gold. Yeah, that's a lot more, right? And that's combined with some other stuff. Okay, let's look at these the techs of the armor here of these Knights Templar. Yeah, let's get these guys. Sorry, Teutonic Knight is what I meant to say. So these guys gain additional health and 1 damage for each kill. So they get veterancy essentially, and they debuff enemy units -2/-2 armor. So that's pretty massive. But yeah, look at their stats. Just crazy armor stats. We're sitting here with 11 melee armor. We've got 9 ranged armor, and they do 31 base damage. And this is before, you know, they get their veterancy essentially, right? Doing an additional 1 damage for each kill. So really cool unit. I'm excited to try it out. But guys, I think we have reached the end of our Knights Templar tutorial. Hope you learned something along the way. If you did, please leave me a comment down below. I greatly appreciate it if you watched this far. And hit me with a thumbs up on the video, and make sure you subscribe for plenty more guides and casted games and all kinds of stuff on the channel. Go find yourself some of my Knights Templar videos I've already uploaded and dig into them. I hope you enjoyed this one, and until next time, wallow.